So I've seen some things floating around on social media about cholesterol, a good level being all the way up to 300 for total cholesterol back, 40 years or so ago. So we're talking early 80s, late 70s, that type of thing. And of course, now it's basically 200, and they are saying it goes over that's kind of a problem, right? So, yes, I did some research on this, and it's true. The levels were acceptable range was up to 300, maybe even a little over that, depending on the laboratory and so forth. But let's dig into this a little bit deeper, and let's talk about these normal, ranges and so forth. So, first of all, a laboratory sets their reference ranges for laboratory tests based on population studies. The key here is that the population studies are largely made up of people that are eating a standard diet. So they're not eating a low carb, high fat type of diet, right? They're eating a standard diet in a society that has told them for years and decades, really, that cholesterol is bad for you, right? So many of the people out there are keeping fat, animal meat and animal fat to a minimum, um, and they're in many cases they're also on statins to lower their cholesterol. So the averages that the normal reference range for laboratories is lower now than what it was back then, and that's a key point to it. All right, so let's look at this. According to Yale Medicine, about 47 million Americans take statins every day. More than 200 million people worldwide take statins every day. That's a huge number. Statins lower cholesterol. That's the main job of statins, right? Is to lower cholesterol. So it makes sense that the reference ranges for cholesterol are lower now because back then statins didn't exist. The first statin came out in 1984 with trials, and then in September of 1987, they were approved by the FDA for marketing in the United States. So back in the late 70s, early 80s, statins didn't even exist. So obviously, there wasn't a way to, take medicine that lowered your cholesterol. So the ranges were going to be lower just because of that. The next thing to look at is beef consumption. If you look at 1980, and this is taken right off of, I believe it was the USDA website, 1980, 48.81 kilograms per year per person of beef consumption, right? 2015, that number was 34.77 kilograms per year. That's 14 kilograms less per year than what it was in 1980. Now, there is some promise that things are starting to change a little bit as keto and carnivore has gotten a little bit more popular. In 2021, the number went to 37.81 kilograms per year. So it's gone back up by about 3 kilograms. It's still 11 kilograms per year less than what it was in 1980. So the big takeaway here is beef consumption is less now than what it was back then as well. So the big concern that mainstream medicine has about red meat and high cholesterol is heart disease, right? According to the CDC, in the US, about 805,000 people have a heart attack each year. 805,000 people. And that comes out to one heart attack every 40 seconds in the United States. A person dies every 33 seconds in the US from cardiovascular disease. Those are pretty sombering statistics. Let's look at something. In 1980, 462,984 people died from coronary heart disease in the US. In 2022, 702,880 people died from heart disease in the US. That's a 66% increase in deaths from heart disease in the US. But let's look at the US population because that's probably why there's such a big increase. 1980, the US population was 226.5 million people. 2022, it was 333.3 million people. That's a 68% increase in population. So, what that's telling me there is it's very similar. So, what is the point of all those numbers? The increase in population is very similar to the increase in deaths from heart disease, right? What that means is as we have gone on statins and lowered cholesterol, we have not changed the incidence of heart disease, deaths from heart disease. We have better medicine now. We have the capability to save people that are having heart attacks that maybe we weren't able to do 40, 50 years ago. Yet we still have basically at the same rate of people dying from heart disease and heart attacks and so forth. With lower cholesterol levels, with statins. Again, 47 million people in the US on statins that take a statin every day. Now, here's something interesting, something to keep in mind about reference ranges. I got this from chatting with AI. AI says, even if your results are outside of the normal range, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a health problem. Your doctor can put your results into context based on your health, family history, and other factors. So, my final conclusion is this: cholesterol is not the smoking gun that mainstream medicine wants you to believe. The reference ranges in place today are skewed by people taking statins, people that are eating less meat and less fat. And, these are people that are on a mostly standard diet for the most part. They are not people that are on a low carb, high fat diet, like the carnivore diet, for instance, ketovore, those kinds of things, right? Lion diet, whatever. There's a very few amount of people that are actually doing those types of diets. So there's very few of them that can be in that reference range. So for the people that are eating these types, the high fat, low carb, high fat diets, they're going to be higher than that reference range for people that are not eating that same type of food. And again, with the people that have lowered their cholesterol, eating less red meat and so forth, we have not fixed the coronary heart disease problem, the problem of heart attacks. It's just as prevalent. And actually, it's gotten even a little bit worse in the last few years, but it's just as prevalent as it's ever been when you look at the increase in population and the increase in coronary heart disease. They align. So lowering, lowering cholesterol with statins has done nothing to help. Keep in mind, your body needs cholesterol. You need cholesterol for brain functioning. More and more evidence is coming out that people with dementia have lower cholesterol. They need the higher cholesterol. People that are actually have dementia and have been getting treated with high fat diets with more cholesterol are actually seeing their symptoms get better, improved. It's because we actually need cholesterol. It's not the smoking gun problem that mainstream medicine is trying to tell you it is. So what are your thoughts on cholesterol, the reference ranges that are in place today? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what everybody has to say about this.